Good morning, everyone. It's Tom Sidney Bushnell, aka Numbers, here from Site Club and from the Tom Numbers Show. And I've got my regular TV host, Rachel WriteSide Blonde, but she's in a different location. And we've got Mr. Charlie Ward. Charlie, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, buddy. I'm a lot better. When I came back from my travels last time, I had a bad ear infection and a really bad chest infection. But God did that to me on purpose, because what it's done, I've given up smoking and drinking for 5 weeks now. Super chuffed. And I always say, if Nino Rodriguez can do it, I can do it.
Well, you look really well, actually, Charlie. I didn't know that had gone on, but you're looking very well. So
I feel great.
That's awesome.
It suits you.
Yeah.
It suits you. How are you doing, Rach?
I've been good. Been very busy with George stuff, writing and researching and all that fun stuff. So it's been crazy.
Yeah.
Trying to get that first issue out.
I've not had a chance yet to watch both of the Trump rallies over the weekend. I'll do that probably later today and tomorrow. I can go through them. Did either of you get to watch the whole thing? I've seen tiny little clips. Did anyone get to see either both or one of them in full?
No.
I saw half of I was watching the first half of the Minden one this morning, but I plan to watch them both.
Anything that stood out to you?
Yeah, he's really putting out a lot of new information. It seems like a lot of times in the rallies, there's, kind of repeating information. But in the first, just what I've heard so far, he talked a lot about what past presidents have taken from the White House in terms of classified documents and how unsecure the places were that they brought them to. So that's been interesting. That I haven't heard those yet. So something new.
Okay. You know what I saw in the numbers. So the first one, like you said, was at Minden, Nevada. You had those together. That comes to 106, which is red pilling. And then you had Mesa, Arizona, and that comes to 122, which comes to America First. And actually, yesterday, people know I've been traveling around, but I'm in Utah right now. Got some good friends here, and I managed to go to one of my buddies, Spencer, got me tickets to the Rail Salt Lake game yesterday, which was the last game of the season, a soccer match. And lo and behold, the big advert of it is America First. It's America First Credit Union. And I was like, oh, okay, that's awesome. So it was right there on the stadium and inside the stadium, and Rail won, and they're in the playoffs. They beat Portland. But if you do Minden, Nevada, 106 red pilling. So I'm sure President Trump was doing a lot of red pilling on that one. And then America First is Mesa, Arizona, which is 122. If you add them together, that comes to 228, which comes to the best is yet to come. So I saw that a few days ago, and I thought, I don't know if President Trump's done two immediate back-to-backs. He may have done, but he's maybe not done it in the last few months, not that I can remember. So I thought, okay, 228, the best is yet to come. We'll take that for sure. And there seems to be some other bits. Someone's made some reference to the song when you were at the last rally a month ago.
He made
and Where We Go won. Yeah.
He made a point of the music in the background. I've had a lot of clips sent to me, and a lot of people are decoding everything, and it ties in perfectly. And obviously the music was a critical part, because both pieces of music were by the same musician. One was Where We Go, and the other was another very relevant piece of music. And he made that point,
I think, or something like that.
I think it's I Am Q.
Oh, I Am Q.
That's it. I Am Q. That's exactly right. And he asked the audience if they liked the music, which is this is a brilliant way to get the message out to those who understand the code, if you like.
Yeah. It's really becoming, it's almost like he's ready just to wear a Q, badge.
I know. Yeah. He's not hiding it anymore, it seems like.
No. Which is amazing, which tells you it just feels, we're just on the cusp. We have to be,
Yes.
We have to be. Because you remember in the past, so early lockdown, he was asked in a press conference while everything was going on, and they asked him, and it was a beautifully set up. Everyone that's awake saw it, and he was asked, so Q, what's this about? Oh, it's they're doing this. They're basically a cabal that runs the world, and he nods his head. I missed it. It was so subtle right at the beginning, because he does that. He goes like that, and then he goes. And he shakes his head and says, I I don't know anything about them really, but they seem to like me, which is a good thing. And then he goes off. But then I rewatched it a few months later, and the nanosecond right at the beginning, he just goes, he nods his head, and then 2 seconds later, he shakes his head. And it was just brilliant, you know. And now it's becoming really clear and apparent, you know, which is. Have you seen this one, Charlie? There's another one of him when he says, "Q, just watch." Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
Q, just watch. So if you just watch, Q just watch happens. Yeah.
There's a lot of things happening because I'm due to have a show at midnight tonight that has been cancelled because the particular person that I was having a show with has been called to meet up with the Trumps.
Wow.
So there is
Can
a
you
lot
say
of
who it is?
I'd rather not because I don't have their consent.
That's fair enough. I guess we'll see. We'll just see in the next few hours. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you guys on Truth Social?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's been retruthing a lot of stuff with Q in it too, which is amazing. There's just no denying it at this point. But
no,
he's part of it.
There's
elevating.
I think that's very, very clear now. I think, you know, there's always been this question of who is Q. Well, I pointed this out the other day because I've done a considerable amount of research about Q, and the furthest I went back, and I can bring it up for your, if you allow me to share the screen. 1 second.
You might have to tell us, Charlie. I always seem to have problems sharing it from my end.
Yeah, let me see if I can. No, you have to. You can click on the blue dots.
Yeah, I've tried it before. It doesn't ever seem to work. I'm going to try one more time. I don't think I'm not hopeful that it will allow it to share. Okay, I've said share screen. Oh, can you see me?
That's it.
No.
No, it says host disabled, participant share screen.
Yes, I think it's because I do it on my phone. It's not on the laptop. So, yeah, you'll just have to tell us about what you're looking at.
Or if you make me a host, then I'll share that. Give the host back to
you. It doesn't allow me to do that from the phone either. Unfortunately,
it doesn't. Okay. Okay. Well, what it is the lost gospel of Q. People can do their own research. They can go back. It was one of the books of the Bible that was taken out. So that's the origins of Q, if you like, the lost gospel, the original sayings of Jesus, but that goes back into the biblical times. The first time really it came into the public domain since then that I can find was Abraham Lincoln. And is fairly well documented for those who know where to look, that Abraham Lincoln had between 8 and 12 trusted people close to him that he felt were there to protect him because he felt people were trying to kill him. So I believe that half of them were military and half of them were personal friends, but they didn't manage to stop him being killed. So when John F. Kennedy got into office, he also had a group of people under the name of Q. And again, it was between 8 and 12, and it is incredibly secretive. Nobody really knows the full details, obviously, because it's a secret organization. And he got killed. And this is where people lose their way a little bit. When Donald Trump got into office, he decided to use the principle of Q again, which suggests that he may well be Q, may well be. But what I can say is he also had a separate group called the Anons, the Anonymous. And the whole idea was that Q could watch the Anons and Anons could watch Q, so they had twice the protection. That was the theory. And then he had a third one called the Kraken. We only found out about that 6 months ago. People had no idea. So you've got 3 secret groups, and that's why he's still alive. There has been more than 100 attempts on his life. And between the 3, they've managed to thwart every single one, obviously. And I would suggest he's probably got some body doubles and clones out there as well, because he's got a sense of humor.
Yeah.
So when it comes to Q, I would tend to say that there's a lot of people out there that claim they're Q, I would say on the law of probability, it's more likely to be DLT or DJT rather than anybody else, because he would because in the fundamentals, he is the commander in chief.
Yeah.
Currently.
Yeah. There's a post, I can't remember when it was from, but they basically say Q and Q plus, and then they have below it the dates, and they have President Trump's birthday of June 14th. That's also the birthday of the military, but they're saying Q and Q plus. So they're mentioning two entities there, two, President Trump and the military. So I would suggest, he must be. And you talk about Q, Charlie, and you talk about Abraham Lincoln. So you read my mind because I was going to mention someone. So you, myself, and Rachel have all met Eric Trump.
Yeah.
And Eric Trump. So I went to Mount Rushmore just last week, and I got to film it, and it's a beautiful place. I'd highly recommend it to anyone to go. It's very moving, a great feeling, a spiritual, conscious feeling that's very powerful. And I got to do a helicopter tour over it as well, and I saw Crazy Horse, the Indian sculpture that are still. But interesting enough, the numbers on Crazy Horse 138, Donald Trump. So that's amazing. But if you look up at the monument, so the word Mount Rushmore is 200. First of all, you've got George Washington, which is 187. Donald Trump always refers to the gas prices as $1.87, so 187. So he's given a nod up to George Washington. Then you've got Thomas Jefferson, which is 174. 174 was currency exchange. That was the very first code him and Melania gave when they came down the escalators, just when he was announcing his presidency. Then you got Theodore Roosevelt. That comes to 221, which is 1,000 years of peace, the greatest showman. And then you've got last of all Abraham Lincoln, which is 123, which is also Eric Trump, which is also silver plus gold. But if you add all those four presidents together, it comes to 705. And if you add Mount Rushmore to it as well, which is Westminster Abbey, which is like a thief in the night. We just had the whole thing with the Queen, etc. Diana, her funeral service was there, which was at 9:08 in the morning. 9 plus 8 is 17 Q. But if you add 200 Mount Rushmore plus all the presidents, 705, it comes to 905. And then the super powerful number, the triple number, you've got 88, which is Trump. But then if you do 888, that's the super powerful version of 888, of 88, which actually comes to Donald J. Trump, simple gematria. In Hebrew, if you times it by 6, it comes to 888. But if you take 905, the total of Mount Rushmore, plus 705, the presidents, so you've got the total of 905. If you take 88 from 905, guess what you're left with? 17, Q.
Okay.
You're left with Q, which is incredible. So you mentioned Abraham Lincoln, you mentioned JFK, and you mentioned President Trump. And it's there in Mount Rushmore in plain sight. So it's 888, the super powerful number. And then the remaining number is Q17. You add them together, it's 905, which is Mount Rushmore, plus George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. So you couldn't write this stuff, Charlie, and it came to me within a matter of minutes. Of like, okay, there you go, I found the Q, and that's the power of it. Talking of Eric Trump, so when myself and Rachel met him with Sheila Hines, we got a picture, and if you're watching, Eric, so I always wear this T-shirt, but there's a reason for it. So it's from Back to the Future. 88 is Trump, MPH is 37, which is senior, but you add them together comes to 125, which is time travel. And in Back to the Future, you have to travel 88 miles per hour to time travel. But time travel is John Kennedy. It's dark to light. It's a Q post. But if you spell the full phrase, 88 miles per hour in words, 88 miles per hour, it comes to 282. Now, I had this picture of Eric Trump. And as soon as I got the picture, I just did the numbers on it. I knew Eric Trump was 1, 2, 3, but I thought I'll do the total of it. Anyway, Eric Trump and Tom Numbers comes to 282. And I had this T-shirt on with him when I've got the picture. And I didn't know those numbers until I took the picture with him. So I guess the point I'm saying is that God is working through the numbers, and he's working through all of us, bringing pieces of the puzzle. And it's the best is yet to come. I can't wait for it. We've been waiting for a long time, it seems like, but we're ready. We feel like we're ready, and we're ready to do what we've got to do. So, but 282 is the best is yet to come. Transition to greatness. Sorry, not best is yet to come. 282 is 88 miles per hour. transition to greatness, and it's Eric Trump and Tom numbers. But anyway, I thought those big numbers might be interesting with Mount Rushmore 888 plus the Q17. So
I thought of you yesterday, Tom, because I'm writing an article in George, and I can't give away too much information, but it's about Mockingbird. We'll just leave it like that. You probably could figure out what it's about.
Yeah.
And so I was praying. I'm like, okay, God, help me write this article. Let me write what you think people need to hear to wake them up. Enter my mind, enter my heart, enter my hands as I type. I instantly heard the song "Break the Chain" by Fleetwood Mac. It just poof, popped in my head.
Yeah.
And then instantly at the same time, I saw this mockingbird with a chain attached to it, and the chain was broken.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is just crazy. I was like, those are the same numbers, gematria. And gematria, I just know it. And I looked it up, Mockingbird and Break the Chain were both 105. Just
wow.
Poof. So needless to say, I told our illustrator that we need to use that imagery for that article because it came to me. I feel like it was meant to be. So,
well, 105 is triumph. Sorry, Charlie. Yeah, I was going to say it's triumph 105.
Trump said triumph. He said, so I'm listening to that speech, this morning, just half of it. And Trump said the word triumph 2 times after you sent that back, Tom. So I was like, man, lots of 105.
He's confirming, Rach. He knows you. He knows me, and he knows Charlie, and he knows all the rest of us. He does. He knows us. I know that for sure.
Now, all I was going to say, Tom, is for those people that are watching what we're talking about here, if you don't get it, don't panic. The first thing you need to do is connect to who you are. God has made this ever so clear to me. My job is not to bring people to God. That's not my job. My job is to get people to connect to themselves. God will do the rest. When you connect to what's within you, and I choose to call what's within me God, things will happen to you like happened to Rachel. It's not coincidence. It's not a mistake. The only mistake happens, we can misinterpret it. Don't be scared to do that, because as a baby, you learn. And if this is the first time you've ever connected within, you will make the odd mistake. Don't be tough on yourself, because this is a new world for you. And when you do connect to this level of spirituality, the first thing that you'll find when you've connected to yourself is that fear disappears. You're not scared anymore. You're not frightened of whether there's going to be a war in Ukraine, or if there's going to be a nuclear bomb wherever, or a nuclear submarine that's gone missing. You won't worry about that when you're connected with him, because God has the answers to what's going to happen. And at the end of the day, what we're in right now is just flesh and blood. What you need to look, and flesh and blood is only here for a time. Your soul lives forever. That's what you need to look after. That's what you need to connect with. That's why I have absolutely no fear of death, because I should be quite glad to get rid of this old sack and get a new one. And it's that simple. It's that simple. As long as I look after my soul, look after who I am. Today we found another 40 or 50 people that were homeless behind Marbella, in a place behind Monda, and we've decided to take them on as well. More people, and the feeling from within is incredible. I have bought new cars in my life. I have bought new boats, planes, etc. And the thrill of that lasts for a day or two, or a week or two. The thrill of helping people who can't help themselves for whatever reason lasts for a very, very long time, and gives you a feeling of purpose. And once you get a feeling of purpose, then connecting within is easy. And I would plead with everybody watching here this today. You might look at Tom, you might look at Rachel and think, what are they talking about? Well, if you're not connected within, you will never know, because this is what we're in at the moment is a spiritual war, and it's a spiritual journey. And if your frequency is not right, you won't understand anything, nothing at all. Don't connect to somebody else, connect to yourself, connect to what's within you. Then I'll tell you right at the start, when Tom started talking numbers to me 2 years ago,
what's he on about?
Clue what he was on about. So don't think you're the only one. I was one of those that didn't have a clue. And then it's also when you hear two people like Rachel, like Tom, look at it from different aspects. Tom's a man, Rachel's a woman. They look at it from different aspects, a female perception, a male perception. And this will help you grow. So for the audience watching, you might not get it straight away, but I'll tell you what, there's a lot more to this when you connect. When you understand what's within, then you'll find peace, you'll find happiness, and then you'll start making sense of all the mayhem. I hope you didn't mind me saying that, Tom.
No, it's great, Charlie, because it's good to say that, because we're always getting new people come and watch the show. And even I should maybe say it at the beginning of the show, but it's very simple. So the number system I'm using is simple gematria, and it's the system that Donald Trump uses. He uses other ones, and I'll show you in a second why he uses it. But it's very simple. So each letter in the alphabet, the order and sequence it comes in, it has a corresponding value, a number, which is A equals 1 because it's the first letter, B equals 2, it's the second letter, C is the third letter, so equals 3, all the way through to the 26th letter, which is Z or Z, depending on, if you're England or America. And then you just add up the numerical value of the word or name or place or your daughter or son or favorite film, whatever it is. And then you start to piece the pieces together. And I'll give you an example, Charlie, and those particular new viewers listening, and even ones that have been watching for a while. So the rallies we spoke about, President Trump, he's got his text donation phone number, the text number on the front of his podium. And it's 88022. And as I said earlier today, 88, when you spell out the word Trump, T is the 20th letter, R is the 18th, U is the 21st, M is the 13th, and P is the 16th. Add them all together, the word Trump comes to 88. So President Trump's on his podium with first two numbers at 88. 107 says you can drop the 0 in this instance. And then you've got 22. And 22 is MAGA. So you've got Trump, MAGA, and you add 88 plus 22, and that comes to a value of 110. And 110 spells the word president. So you got President Trump on his podium saying Trump, MAGA, you text in, and it equals president. So he uses simple gematria, which comes to 148 Donald J. Trump.
I'll give you something to think about. And I've got this on very good information. Because somebody said to me the other day, is Trump coming back as president? And I said, no. He will not come back as president, because you don't need a president of the Constitution. You only need a president of a corporation. And the corporation has been dissolved. I'll tell you also, factually, that he has been the commander-in-chief since March 2021. He's been the commander-in-chief in the background, while the fake situation we're in right now is played out. And it's being allowed to play out for one simple reason. The people need to see what they would have done had they have won properly. And the people, there's no point telling people would not understand it. They had to see it. But he won't come back as president. He will continue his role as commander-in-chief, but it will become public very, very soon. Very, very, very soon.
Also, the 110, so 8822, so Trump MAGA on the roster. It also comes to 110 president, but it also comes to magic power, and it also comes to the Christ. And there's the return of Christ consciousness. Consciousness is 175, which is Diana Francis Spencer. That's her full name. And people don't know this, Charlie. Well, some people do, but I'll mention it. So Donald Trump, if you look at his family history, if you look at the name of his father, Frederick Trump, do you have any idea what his middle name was?
Go on.
Christ.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I did know that, yes.
Right. Yeah, you did. Yeah. So Frederick Christ Trump, and then his grandmother, Mary Christ, and then the great grandfather, Felipe Christ. And I think it would probably been a bit too in people's faces if they'd called him Donald John Christ Trump, So they just stuck with John. John is 47, which is a mirror reflection of Jesus, 74, which is gematria, which is Muhammad, which is Messiah for the Jews, which is English. It's the language that we speak in, you know. But it's all there. It's all there in plain sight if we take the time and effort. I was with a friend last night and I was teaching him the number. He gets them and he does them, but then in the early days I'd get all the information, but I'd have to count on my hands. I'd still have to count on my fingers the letters, and it took me maybe 10 days to maybe 3 weeks to be able to do it very quickly, where it was like a cipher, like a key to another language. And that's really what it is. The numbers are just another language, and they help you kind of just see things in a, you know, from a different perspective and different understanding. But yeah, Commander-in-Chief. Yeah, Commander-in-Chief. And that would be great when we see that very soon. That would be really amazing.
Tom and I just celebrated our 1 year anniversary of meeting, and it's crazy how we were talking
Happy birthday, Rach.
Yeah, happy birthday / anniversary of meeting, running into each other at a Scott McKay event in Iowa, of all places. But it's just crazy how God has used us all in these meticulous ways that you never would have thought. I've been listening to a lot of Diamond and Silk's information, and they've said the same thing. It seems like everyone who's in our situation right now is in the same boat. We're just put here, and we never had any idea that this would happen, that we would be in this situation talking on the internet about things that matter. But here we are.
And then we find out that you were born on the same day
as you,
the same month, in the same century as me. I can't say the same year or same decade. I can say the same century.
It's okay. It's just age is just a number.
Exactly. Now, I had the pleasure of meeting you in Virginia Beach for the first time in real life, and it's always good to meet people in real life.
Yeah.
It was amazing in Virginia Beach how many people wanted to feel my face and pull my face and what have you.
Oh my gosh, it was insane. It was my first experience like following around a celebrity type figure, because it was just so bizarre walking around with Charlie. People are grabbing at him. I'm like, geez, Charlie, people love you here. I mean, not that I doubted that they loved you, but it was just a visual thing. Wow.
In New York, I was overcome because having got off stage, I was signing photographs and shaking hands and hugging for 2.5 hours. And of course, people always want to tell you something, and they were telling me very valuable information. The only problem was I woke up the next day and wondered what on earth had happened and what anybody had said. I couldn't remember anything because the barrage of information was incessant. And there was a lot of people with a lot of very good information. And then I sat down with a box full of gifts that were given to me and just sort of went through them all and tried to make head nor tail. I still have a case full of gifts that I haven't even had the chance to go through yet.
It's crazy, isn't it? People they want to show their admiration and appreciation for everything you've done the past 2+
I'll show you
years.
one thing that was given to me, which I love. This is somebody very, very kindly.
There you go.
Oh, that is awesome.
It is.
Awful.
You know, it's all handmade, and people have done some very, very kind things.
Did you get that monkey that's behind your chair from somebody too?
That actually came from Simon Parks, and that was another gift.
Wow.
That's a great guitar.
Now, how do you get that back to Spain from Nash? Do you walk through the airport with that thing, or
World's greatest truther?
Oh, that's awesome.
There you go.
No, they sent it to me by courier.
Okay.
I had some beautiful. I get some incredible things given to me. Yeah, the monkey came from Simon Parks. Bless him. Because we have him and I have a lot of banter every single day. We share information. There's certain people that I share information. I said this the other day because people are always fascinated. Where do you get your intel? Where do you get your intel? I'm very open about it. I get it from the Quantum team, which I'm direct to. And I speak to them on a regular basis. I get it from Simon and I compare notes with what we get. I also compare with Mark Z. His information is very good. He works very, very hard. I think the world of him. There are certain people that And then I've got a team of about 3 or 4 spiritual people that can just help me understand how to deliver the message accurately. Male and female, that are all extremely good. And depending on what I need to understand, I simply speak to each individual. I had a question the other day about something that just didn't sit well with me. It didn't feel right. And I just said, look, I've heard this. Can you look into this and tell me what you think? And they came back, and I don't tell them my judgment. I tell them what I see, and I have my own judgment. And then I ask them for their opinion and their judgment. And they do channeling, they do meditation, they do prayer, all kinds. And all 4 of them came back with exactly the same answer. And they're from 4 different parts of the world too. They don't even know each other. So it's the information that I've got. Number one, the theory of it is incredible, but you have to then understand the spiritual, I was going to say connotations, but the spiritual aspect of it to get to understand what's really going on. And what I would say to your audience is don't panic right at the moment. It's going to look, we're in the end game that's going to look messy. This week today we're the 10th of the 10th.
10/10.
2022, 10/10. It would not surprise me this week if we get some blackouts in different parts of the world. I won't say much more than that, but we've said many, many times, prepare yourself. I've got enough food in my house to last me a month. I've got enough cash to last me a month, and I've got a generator. And it's not a big deal to have a lot. I had this discussion the other day with somebody saying, oh, I don't have enough money. I've set aside €1,000. I could live off €1,000 with my wife and Justin, mother-in-law, comfortably for a month. You have to cut your cloth accordingly. We've got plenty of water. We've got electricity. We've got 2 massive bags of jasmine rice, that is stable diet, etc. There's ways to do things. And if you know that there's a chance of it, all I'd say to anyone is prepare yourself. Be prepared. And don't just sit there and go, oh, I've got no food. I've got no this, no that, no. You know, we've been saying it for a long time now. We're getting to a stage, but somebody said to me yesterday, this week could bring blackouts. It could, what that means, I don't know, whether it's no electric, whether there's no internet, whether we all know about the food shortages because of all the plants that have been attacked recently. In Paris, the biggest fruit and vegetable plant in Europe has been destroyed. And then we see the bridges in Crimea that are being attacked, which means food chains struggle to get stuff through. So there's lots of reasons why you should learn to look after yourself, not depend on other people.
Is there anything you can share with us about the QFS and where we're at with that? Or
the QFS, right? This is you're going to be the first ones to hear this, because I'm going to talk about this in Pennsylvania. I'm also doing a show with Lawrence Fox, who played Hunter Biden in the My Son Hunter. I'm doing a show with him soon, and I'm going to talk about the QFS because I've been asked to back off of it for a bit because people needed to see the central bank digital currency and how corrupt it was, and they didn't want people knowing.
Liam Fox or Lawrence Fox?
Lawrence.
Is he the English actor? The blonde hair? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Excellent.
So they wanted people to understand that the central bank digital currency is a corrupt system, nothing more than the Federal Reserve. I mean, it's absolutely pointless. But when you consider that half the world have already gone gold backed, they'll all be integrated. Gold back will integrate into the quantum financial system. So the quantum financial system itself won't be gold backed, but the currencies going into it will be. We now know that Russia has gone gold backed. China has gone gold backed. Brazil has gone gold backed. South Africa, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa have all gone gold backed. We know that. We know that Saudi Arabia have joined them. We know that Argentina have joined them. We know that Uruguay have joined them. The secret is that Great Britain has done the same. And it's a sterling token rather than the Great British Pound. That's already happened. They've already got their currency gold backed in ready to go. America has got the USTN, the United States Token Note. That's already, and you can Google it, you can find out for yourself. It's 1-to-1 to the dollar. So the dollar won't collapse as yet. It'll give time for people to make a choice. Do you want your paperback to be paper-backed, or do you want your dollar to be gold-backed? Your choice. For those people who choose to put it across, they get 1-to-1. So things are very much in play with the quantum financial system. The other big difference between the quantum financial system and the central bank digital currency, the quantum financial system is all run above us with Starlink, whereas the old SWIFT system, the old banking system, the fiat currency, the central bank digital currency is all underground. And it's internet based, and that is coming to an end because Starlink will replace it. But at the moment we're in a war between the two. You and I know who's won this war, but it's being played out, and they're gonna want to push their central bank digital currency. They're currently lying about it to try and get people to want it, but nobody will want it when they realize it's not backed by gold. Given the choice of having a currency backed by gold and one that's not, it's not rocket science. And they got to a stage the other day where they were in such a hole that they were saying, no, it's gold backed. And for me, it was quite simple. Just prove to me where the gold backing is. Just show me where you've got gold backing. Because I'm not looking for paper gold. I'm looking for physical gold. And they haven't got it.
Charlie, you said you've hit some really good points there. So you said it's called, if I remember right, you said it's the sterling token. Is that correct?
Yep.
So the word sterling in the numbers comes to 104, comes to Jerusalem, but it also comes to Starlink. And you just said that, it's run on the Starlink. And token is 65. So if you do sterling token, that comes to 169, which comes to the Great Awakening. It comes to Trump Tower. And then if you say British, so the word British is 85, which is storm, which is awakening, which is silver. It's also blackout, which you mentioned a few minutes ago. But if you add all those up, if you do British sterling token, it comes to 254. September 11th is actually the 254th day of the year. But it also, 254 also comes to 1,000 years of peace, which is what we all want. This is what the point of all of this is, this clear up, this changing of the guard, the changing of the world, going into the millennium, the 1,000 years of peace, which was referenced by Steve Bannon and a gentleman from the Chinese Republic in front of Statue of Liberty. Yep. Statue of Liberty is 198, which is President Trump, which is also the resurrection. And obviously you had the events of September 11th, just, a stone's throw across the water, right there in the same picture. And September 11th, the day of September 11th is 254, which is British sterling token. So I thought that was cool. That was interesting. And we've said this one before. You talk about BRICS, BRICS, and that comes to 51, comes to Jasara, which is, as you said to me a few months ago, you said it's happening. It's already taking place.
The other thing that I'll mention on that was people were saying, we were expecting something to happen on the 24th of October. Most people missed it.
You mean September?
September the 24th, sorry. Yes, September the 24th. Of course, for those people who watched, you'll see that the dollar, the euro, and the pound came to parity on that day, virtually 1-to-1. And most people missed it. So that was the start of the RV, the 24th.
Do you have any more information about, so that we spoke about this, Charlie, back in the summer? I was in Bournemouth when I was talking to you about it, but there was a few pieces of information came out about the Zim being people could go, and they were saying that the Zim note in Zimbabwe, the currency that they were the people were using was gold backed, and they could go into a bank and get gold. I don't know how that physically is working out. Another thing I noticed is they were shown on tankers the word Zim, and I'd never seen that before. So it was almost like double kind of comms, like waking people up. It was like, well, there's Zim, but then there's the Zim note. But do you have any more information about the gold backed Zim note? Literally,
these are
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe and Venezuela, both countries that have been hit terribly by corrupt mafia governments.
Yeah,
are both pulling into line now and taking zeros off their notes and going gold backed.
Yes,
and you look Zimbabwe, it's a no-brainer, and the whole of Africa, because if anybody had any idea how much gold is in Africa and diamonds and natural resource and oil and everything else, but it's been robbed by the British, the Germans, the Dutch, the Belgians, the Americans. They've all robbed them. And then they wonder why the Africans rob other people. Well, it's been done to them all their life. They don't know anything different, and yet they've still got a smile on their face. They're incredible people. They're incredibly resilient. And for me, I look at Africa, and as we move from darkness into light, I can see that just being God's country. Natural resource, beautiful people, incredible people. The spirit that they have after being robbed blind. I mean, that's some resilience. They've been absolutely raped and pillaged by the Western governments, and yet, then you look at countries like Somalia that are absolutely, and they've sent pirates out to get our ships. Yeah, we sent plenty in to rob everything they had and never even talked about it. And I can't wait to get back into Africa for this transfer of wealth to give them back. Not just what has been stolen from them, but to give them back much more, because these people have suffered when they should never have suffered. But it's a beautiful country. For anybody who's never been to Africa, you should go. Go with somebody who knows what they're doing, because when you go into real Africa and meet real people rather than the tourist places, it's an incredible place with incredible people. And some of the things you'll see and hear will be, you'll just go, wow, that's an amazing place.
It is. They are beautiful people. And you said about, so talking of the Zim, Charlie, so
yeah,
everyone knows, well, not everyone, but some will know about the $100 trillion note. And at the top, it says Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
You do the numbers on that. So reserve is 92, of is 21, bank is 28, and Zimbabwe is 81, which is Tower. Makes me think of Trump Tower, etc. But you add them all together, it comes to 222, which is 1,000 years apiece, 1,000 years apiece, and we're in the year of 2022. You drop the zeros, 222. But also, this is interesting. This is something that Eric Trump said at the rally that me and Rachel were at just a few weeks ago at the Clay Clark event in Idaho. And he said two things. First of all, one thing he mentioned, he just quite flippantly just said, oh, Space Force is the next dimension. And my ears pricked up at that. I was like, oh, he's saying basically Space Force is a higher level dimension of reality, which is what one of the things that's helping one of the main things helping all this clear up happen. And he just slipped it out, just put it out there. And then he started talking about Christmas. And he kept going on about Christmas. He said, well, my father, he's been fighting against this thing of not being able to talk about Christmas in schools. And I'm going to stand up and say Christmas. And I'm going to wish people Merry Christmas. And then Eric Trump, continues it and is basically saying, he's saying Merry Christmas. He's saying Merry Christmas to the audience. He's repeating what his father had said previously, but he's saying Merry Christmas. And I'm thinking, hang on, is he saying we're going to have a Merry Christmas? Because we know Trump said back in 2020, we're going to have an amazing Christmas. And we know about deltas. We know about time deltas. So going back to the Zim note, it says $100 trillion at the bottom. That's the value of the large note. Now, if you do the numbers on $100 trillion, it comes to 298. And 298 comes to Do They Know It's Christmas, which is the famous title of the song for Band Aid, which liberated Africa. But also, if you change the Zim, it's going to liberate other parts of the world as well. And so I saw that and I thought, Eric Trump's reminding us of Christmas. Does that mean we're close to this Merry Christmas? We've still got a few months left in the year. But the Zim note, $100 trillion, comes to 298, which comes to Do They Know It's Christmas? And you talk about Africa. So the word Africa comes to 38, which is gold. And if you do Africa reversal is 100. So Africa 38 plus 100 comes to 138. Africa reversal comes to the word revaluation, and it also comes to the two words Donald Trump. And Donald Trump was born in Africa. Well, actually, sorry, he wasn't born in Africa. Correction, he was born in Jamaica. Jamaica's 38 as well, which is gold. He's born in Jamaica Hospital. Hospital is 100. So Jamaica Hospital 38 plus 100 comes to 138. Donald Trump. So I thought that was really interesting, dovetailing on what you said about the Zim and the people there and all of Africa and all all countries of the world. But hopefully we do have a Merry Christmas. That'd be incredible if it's this year.
Yeah, definitely.
We're ready.
Exactly.
We're ready. And I also think, you were talking about the blackout, Charlie. I just picture, I don't know why, but when the blackout happens, every single patriot in the country is going to be screaming for joy. Like, I'll actually be able to hear people screaming down the street that the power finally went out and it's finally happening. This is just my imagination. It's the way it works.
That'd be brilliant. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, it will. Well, blackout is storm. Blackout storm. That's what it is. It's storm. I don't know if you know this one, Charlie. So Storm Ian down in Florida that we've had. So Storm Ian is let me work it out, is what is it? 29. Hang on, let me just double check. So I did this before. So Storm Ian, here we go. It's 24. So you talk about 24th. So September 24th. I've been doing shows with Bo Polney over the last couple of weeks, and Bo's got an interesting, fun perspective on 888, and we do some real fun shows. And he's been talking about the importance of the 24th, and he was talking about September 24th into the 25th, and he said about October 24th and November, and he got December, etc. But so Ian is 24, and the word storm is 85, which is also blackout. But if you add them together, Storm Ian, it comes to 109, which spells the word 17 again. So I was like, okay, I'm not saying there wasn't destruction with people, etc. down there, but I think God's in control of all of this, along with his team on the ground, the Q team, and 109 is Storm Ian. Yeah.
I'm going to tell my 924 story quick.
Go on, Rich. Yeah.
My two, this is crazy. You guys will appreciate this. So my two lucky numbers in sports were 9 and 24. I always wore 9 or 24. So I always thought September 24th has always been my lucky day because it's 9/24. Well, I have two kids. My son was born on the 9th of the month, and my daughter was born on the 24th of the month. Can't make it up.
There you
go.
Can't make it up.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yep.
And 9 plus 24 is 33. And 33, all numbers are intrinsically good, but we know things got, there's a dark and a light side, and the dark side know the powerful numbers and they try to capture them, but they're all returning to good. So 33 is a really major, powerful number. It comes to the word magic, i.e. good magic, because the White Hats are using that as well, I believe. And Don, as in Don Trump, Donald Trump, Don is 33. The word the is 33. The Don is 66, which is event, which is happy, which is woman. Thames, River Thames is 138, which is Donald Trump revaluation. But 33, if you spell out the word 33, it comes to 156, which comes to Baron Trump. And you've got Ingersoll you've got the Ingersoll Road in Iowa.
We do. We have Ingersoll Avenue here in Des Moines.
You got it there. And when I did the helicopter ride over Mount Rushmore, just to the side, there's the Ingersoll mine. And the Ingersoll mine comes to 185, which is Donald John Trump, which is Global Financial Reset, which is Book of Revelation, which is the Silver Resets, all those things. But going to the number 33 again, you'll know. So the New Yorker, which is the hotel in Manhattan where Nikola Tesla lived, he lived deliberately on the 33rd floor. 33 again comes to 156, which comes to Baron Trump. And Baron Trump, they've named a book series of time travel after him. So I think probably there's a good connection between Baron Trump and Tesla and time travel and JFK and even Christ, I would say. But that's maybe another discussion. But there's so much correlation with the numbers and in our personal events, like with Nursel 77, Charlie. That's Christ, that's power. It's like it hurts, it vibrates. So people talk about vibrating and raising your vibration. The word vibrate is 77. The word Christ is 77. The word power is 77. Going back to JFK and the events of 1963, there's a picture. So the book depository, there was an advertisement on the top, and it's the word hertz, which is all to do with frequency and vibration. But the word hertz again is 77. And one of Rachel's friends, my friend as well, Tony, he led me onto, I haven't watched it yet, but on the TV network Hulu. And I've been talking about this with JFK and how time travel was used to, not what the public think happened is not the case of what actually happened with him, in my opinion. But I think there's other things that are confirming that now. So there's a TV series called 11/22/63, and 11 is November, 22 is the date, 22nd of when that happened with JFK in 63. But the theme of that TV show, Charlie, is all about time travel and how people went back in time to change the events of JFK's assassination. There's just a TV series about it, but it's come out at this time while we're going through this. So I need to watch that TV show. I do. But other people might know notes and put things in the comments about it. But imagine that, a whole TV series dedicated to the subject of time travel, deliberately changing the events of 11/22/63. Yep. It's mind-boggling, you know? Mm-hmm. Mark Atwood did some numbers on that as well. And he pointed out that the day after that JFK passed, Doctor Who, which is a TV series in England about time travel, was released. But because of what happened with JFK, no one watched that TV show. They had to wait the following week to re-release it. But the interesting numbers on this, talking of time travel and Tesla, we know the numbers are 369. If you do the day after JFK, it happened on a Friday with JFK, 63, the word Friday equals 63, which also equals the word 11. It happened in 1963. So you'll know this, Charlie, from silver with JFK's silver order, the 11/11/0 silver order, which was done not long before he passed. But if you go to the next day after that happened, it was a Saturday. The word Saturday is 109, which is 17, which is Q. The word Zapruder, as in the film, the JFK film Zapruder, that's also 109. Diana Spencer's 109. My channel Site Club's 109. 17 is 109. But Saturday, 109, in Back to the Future, they say we're going back to the future next Saturday night. Saturday, November 23rd, if you spell it out in a full sentence, Saturday, November 23rd, it comes to the numbers 369, which are the Tesla numbers, which is the day that they released the TV show Doctor Who, all about time travel. And you do time travel through Tesla technology and understanding of physics. It's mind-boggling. I love it. It's amazing.
That's brilliant. Well, thanks very much, Tom.
My pleasure, Charlie.
Great to see both you and Rachel again. I shall look forward to seeing you guys. I'm coming to Pennsylvania next week. I fly out on Wednesday. I arrive there Wednesday evening. So I look forward to certainly trying to catch up with, as I'm in Pennsylvania first, then Nashville, Tennessee. And then from Nashville, I go to Los Angeles. And then from Los Angeles, I go to Branson, Missouri.
I was just going to ask if you're going to Missouri.
Yeah, I'm going to Branson, Missouri. And then I'm going down to the Dr. Zelenko Foundation Gala in Miami. And then from there, I go home.
Wow. Charlie, I've got to ask you this. So I don't know if I've heard this from a little bird or if it might have been public on your channel, but you talk about meeting. Have you got some public event at Christmas? Is that true or is that not the case?
We've got a public event where we've got a Christmas party. Okay. And we've got it in London for 2 days. It's on Monday and Tuesday. I have to look because it's all done by Tara and my wife. It's the 12th and the 13th of December. And the tickets are available on my website. There's only 160 tickets for each event. And they're going
Rachel's name.
There you go.
You got to come over, Rach. That's a sign. I was going to say, come over. Now, Charlie said that you have to come for that for Christmas.
Yeah.
I know. I would love, I haven't even been, you guys, it's sad. I've never even been across the Atlantic. It's really embarrassing.
Have you not?
I have not. This morning,
there's aliens over there.
my son, my 8-year-old son, I was telling, I want to go over and see London and France and Spain. We were talking about you actually, Charlie. I don't know why,
Yep.
but I said somebody from Spain. And then he goes, it's just so romantic over there. I'm like, what?
There you go. Come and see us and understand romance.
I'm like, you're 8. How do you even know what romantic means? But it was just cute.
Oh, I know. Oh, they do.
Yeah, he's
They
very
do.
smart. Yeah, he's very smart.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Good stuff. All right, Charlie. Good to see you.
Great to
Buddy.
see you both and look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thanks,
Sounds
Charlie.
good.
Thanks, Rachel.
Here,
See you
guys.
both soon. Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Cheers.
Bye. Bye.